a little too much again. Definitely a little too much. Doing this right over the deck like an idiot. Like an idiot. As an idiot. Fairing of the rudder continued with a light sanding of the first coat of primer, which was over some epoxy. Followed by another light coat of fairing compound. I don't know if this rudder's been this fair since it was new, but it's worth doing, I guess. Probably good for a 50th of a knot, you know? Then back to the stern post to fair it up a little more. Pretend you don't see that pallet I'm using. I didn't have something suitable. That scrap piece of wood did the trick. Kind of crazy, I know. It was a nice day to do this job. Sunny, dry, not really warm, but warm enough for all this stuff to go off properly. Now, I hadn't forgotten about the hull. I just wanted to get a coat of something or other on the rudder and the stern post before I got into this task. I wasn't looking to remove all the paint, just to rough it up a bit to take some primer and some fairing compound. The old paint is kind of shrunken and cracked in some places, but it wasn't too bad. I didn't see the need to try to remove all of it. Here we can see me filling the screw holes from the name boards. Spoiler alert, the name of this boat is going to change. I don't think I'm going to use name boards though. I think I'm going to paint it directly on there, or maybe even use decals temporarily. The first pass had her looking pretty good, but you can see here there's a bunch of missing plugs along the rub rail. These hide all the bolts that actually fasten it to the boat. They were all completely rotten. I'm not sure what kind of wood they're made out of, but they're going to have to be replaced. There were a lot of small cracks between the laminated layers of the rub rails. It would probably be best to remove all that. I didn't investigate the fasteners very closely, but none of it was loose. So for this time around, I figured I'd just fill it all in as best I can, and of course replace the plugs. And most important, get some paint on it before winter. It was also a good time to make another pass at the cockpit bulkhead. After sanding the first coat of primer, I applied more thickened epoxy primer to it. I tried filling the upper part of the rub rails from the deck, which turned out to be a bad idea. Just too awkward. I wasn't crazy about this product. I don't remember what it was. It was a little too chewy, a little too thick. But it'll do for now. A little too much again. Definitely a little too much. Doing this right over the deck like an idiot. Like an idiot. As an idiot. Chances are good that I would be sanding off more than half of what I was applying here, but this stuff did the trick. Oh, God. Around here, I decided when it was time to do the port side of the boat, I would definitely do it from the ground, from a scaffold. This was a really, really bad idea. But I got it done. Having finished filling the starboard side, I had a little bit more stuff left over, so I went back to the stern post. Chances are pretty good that I'm going to wind up re-drilling the holes for the hinge part that went here oversized and putting wood in them. But as of this time, I wasn't 100% decided on that. It was actually looking really good at this point. Very solid. But you shouldn't underestimate the forces of the rudder on the structure. At least it's going to be nice and fair, and it's not going to rot anymore before winter's over. So here's the starboard side after the first pass with filler and some flexible caulk in the corners and a little more primer. Looking pretty patchy, but it's actually in decent shape. You can see I've also replaced some of those plugs. I replaced them with white oak dowel. Should fare up pretty good. That week I also moved ahead on dealing with the port side rub rail. I replaced all the bad plugs and started drilling out the screw holes to fill them with epoxy so that they could be re-drilled later when the metal strip went back on. Then back to the starboard side to sand off some of that gunk I'd put on. You can see here I finally rigged up something to catch all the dust with a vacuum. Worked very, very well compared to the alternative, which is to have this stuff going everywhere. The yard was starting to fill up with boats for the winter, so I didn't want to be a bad neighbor and get dust all over everybody's boats. Looks like a flight of RVs, maybe. Yeah, I think the RVs. Cool. Nice day for flying. That kind of made me miss flying. I haven't done any flying in years. But now I have another ridiculous, expensive hobby. Boating. Yeah. So there won't be any flying for a while. But that's okay. I'm pretty excited about entering the world of sailboats. How satisfying it was to get a complete first coat of primer on this topside section. Wonderful.